Hi, welcome to my channel, Math Made Easy with Laurel. I'm Laurel, and in this video we're going to talk about percent change. In business, you will often talk about changes in prices and profits and production and so on in terms of percent. And anytime we're dealing with percent, we can always go back to the definition of percent, which is the percent over 100 will be equivalent to the ratio of the amount to the base. When you're calculating something consistently like percent change, we can isolate the percent in our equation by, in this case, multiplying both sides by 100, because we have percent divided by 100. Therefore, to eliminate it from this side, we do the inverse operation, which is multiplying by 100. That will cancel, and we'll be left with percent. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side. So percent will equal the amount divided by the base times 100. And when you're talking about percent change, whether it's an increase or decrease, then the amount will be the amount of change, either increase or decrease, and the base will always be the original value. And the way that the formula will probably be written in your business text will be like this. This is the Greek letter delta, and that's used to represent change. So the change in percent will be equal to, so the amount of increase or decrease is equal to the new value minus the old. The base, which is the original amount, is the old amount, and then you times it by 100. Let's use this formula in some examples to show how this works. In our first example, it says an item increases in price from $400 to $500. What is the percent increase? So first of all, let's define what the old price and the new price are. So remember, the old is what it was. So it went from $400 to $500. So that's the new price. Let's plug those values into our formula. So our percent change will be equal to the new minus the old divided by the old. And then to change it to a percent, we multiply by 100. 500 minus 400 is 100. 100 divided by 400 is 0.25. Multiply by 100, and that will be 25%. In our next example, it says daily sales decreased from $1,000 per day to $600 per day. What is the percent decrease? Again, let's define the old and the new. So the old went from $1,000 a day to the new number of 600. Plugging these numbers into our formula, we get the percent change equivalent to 600, the new minus the old of 1,000 divided by the old times 100. 600 minus 1,000 is negative 400. Negative 400 divided by 1,000 is negative 0.4. So our percent change will be negative 40%. When you see a negative, that means a decrease. So if you answer this question and you use the word percent decrease, you don't need to put the negative. Decrease means that it goes down. So we would say the percent decrease is 40%. You can say the percent change is negative 40%, then that indicates it decreases. But don't say percent decrease is equal to negative 40%. You can have cases where your increase is greater than 100%. Let's take a look at this example. It says the price of an item increases from $80 to $200. What is the percent increase? So again, define the old price and the new price and plug those values into your formula. When I plug those values into my formula, I get the percent change equal to the new 200 minus the old $80 divided by the old of $80 times 100. 20 minus 80 is 120 divided by 80 times 100. 120 divided by 80 is 1.5 times 100. So 150% would be the percent increase. This next example is from the J. Oliver textbook, Business Math, a Step-by-Step Approach, and it illustrates that you need to look at more than just the price when you're making comparisons in some cases. So it says the original price for a bottle of shampoo was $5.99 and the bottle size was 240 milliliters. The price decreased to $5.79, but the bottle size also decreased to 220 milliliters. So we want to calculate what's the percent change in the price per milliliter, not the price per bottle. We can't compare them because they're different sizes. So what we're going to do is find the price per milliliter for the old bottle and the price per milliliter for the new bottle and use those values in our formula. To calculate the price per milliliter for the old bottle of shampoo, I take the price and divide by that volume of 240. That gives me a price of $0.024958 per milliliter, or just under 2.5 cents per milliliter. Let's do the same calculation for the new bottle. So the price per milliliter of the new bottle of shampoo will be $5.79 divided by 220 milliliters, which is $0.026318 per milliliter, or a little more than 2.5 cents per milliliter. So we can see that the price is greater with the new bottle. Let's find that percent increase using these values. So plugging these numbers into our formula, we get the new price per milliliter minus the old price per milliliter divided by the old price per milliliter, and then we multiply by 100 to change it to a percent, and we get 5.4485. Just a word of caution, because you're getting values that aren't exact, you probably want to use the memory functions on your calculator to store these numbers so that when you plug them into your formula, your answer is exact, instead of being inaccurate when you use rounded off values. But an even better idea is to actually use the percent change function on your calculator. So let's redo these 4 examples using the percent change function on your business analyst calculator. Okay, our first example said an item increases in price from $400 to $500. What is the percent increase? Again, we're going to define the old and new price. On your calculator, you have a percent change function, and you're going to find that as the second function to the number 5. So above that, you'll see delta percent. So let's press second function 5, and you're going to see it says old. Let's scroll through to see the 4 values that you can put in. The old, press the arrow, the new, percent change, and number of periods, which the default number is 1, and we're going to leave it at that. So if we press our scroll button again, we get back to the original, which is old. So let's enter the old value of 400. So we enter 400, and you have to press the enter button. Now we'll scroll to the new price of 500, and we have to enter that. Then we scroll down to percent change. With those 2 values, I can calculate the percent change. So I'm going to ask my calculator to compute it. Here's my compute key, CPT, press that, and the percent change is 25%. So in using this function, if you know all of the values except one value, enter the other values that you know, and then when you get to the one you want to calculate, just press that. 2 things I want you to be aware of. To quit this program and go back to your regular calculator, you can go second function quit. However, the numbers that we've put in are still in there. So if I go back to the percent change function, those numbers are still there. So what you need to do is clear those, and in order to clear them, you press second function and clear work. So second function, clear work. Now we can start a new example. In our next example, daily sales decreased from 1,000 to 600. What's the percent decrease? So the old was 1,000. The new is 600. So let's enter those values. Old is 1,000. Remember, you have to enter it. Scroll down. New is 600. You have to enter it. Scroll down. Percent change, that's what you want to compute. -40%. so a decrease of 40%. Let's clear this and do the third example. So second function, clear work. Our third example says the price of an item increases from $80 to $200. What's the percent increase? So the old price is 80, the new price is 200. So we're going to enter 80 for the old, 80, enter, scroll down, new 200, enter, scroll down, percent change, compute 150%. Let's clear this work in order to do our last example. So second, clear work. In our last example, the regular price for a bottle of shampoo was $5.99 for a 240 milliliter bottle, and the price changed to $5.79, but the bottle size decreased to 220 milliliters. So to enter the old value, we're going to take $5.99 and divide by 240 equals, that's going to be the price per milliliter. So that's what we're going to enter for our old value. Let's scroll. For our new value, we're going to do the same thing. 579 divided by 220. That's the price per milliliter for the new bottle. We're going to enter that. Now we're going to scroll down and compute our percent change, which is 5.4485 rounded off. Again, remember to clear this before you do another example. And if you want to exit out of here, just go second and quit. Hopefully you now understand this formula and how to use it, and also how to use the percent change function on your calculator.